Good morning, cadets. We have learnt the Gauss law. The statement of Gauss law, as we learnt it, is the total electric flux linking with the surface. The total electric flux penetrating through a surface or enclosed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by it. So, if phi is the total flux, then it is 1 by epsilon naught times charge. It means the total electric flux linking with the surface or passing through a surface closed surface is directly proportional to the charge enclosed by it. That is the meaning of it. And the proportionality constant is 1 by epsilon naught times, where epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Q is the charge enclosed, epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. 10 to the power of minus 12. Yes. Newton meter square per coulomb square is the Newton meter square per coulomb square is the SI unit of permittivity of free space. Yes, per coulomb square. Now, this is the permittivity. Now, when are we going to apply the Gauss law? What are the conditions for applying the Gauss law? It's a very simple statement. Electric flux linking through a closed surface is depending on the charge enclosed by it. If the charge enclosed is positive, then the total electric flux linking with the enclosed surface is positive. If the charge enclosed by the surface is negative, then the flux linking with the surface is negative. That's it. So, there is a possibility of positive flux as well as negative flux. If the electric field lines are totally inwards, then it is leading to negative electric flux. If the electric field lines are totally emerging outside, then it is positive flux, right? Now, the left hand side says about the closed surface. What must be the closed surface? The closed surface may be a spherical surface, or it may be a cylindrical surface, or may be cubical surface, or maybe cuboidal surface, it may be any surface. It may be any surface. There is no restriction. So, the surface that we choose is arbitrary, and the surface is so chosen that usually that will be helpful for calculation of the electric field, and situations will be such that it will be a symmetrical distribution of the charge will be symmetrically arranged, or the surface will be symmetrical. The surface chosen will be usually symmetrical. That is why usually the surfaces may be spherical, cylindrical, cubical or cuboidal, or even it may be any type of surface. Any type of surface. There is no restriction on the type of surface. That is first thing. Second thing is it depends on the net charge. Q may be the net charge. The net charge means suppose this is the enclosed surface, maybe spherical, maybe cuboidal, maybe cubical, maybe cylindrical. Let us say that this is an enclosed surface which is having some positive charge and a negative charge. Right? So, what is the net charge that we have to calculate first? If these are all taken E plus and these are all taken E minus. Now, you see net charge, if it is all representing electronic charges, then if you take this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative charge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positive charge. If the charges are of equal magnitude, then the net charge becomes 0. In such case, when the net charge is 0, then naturally the electric flux is 0. Suppose the negative charges are more in number. If negative charges are more in number enclosed by this surface, now you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 negative charges are there and 6 positive charges are there. In this case, net charge Q is equal to 7 E minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 E minus plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 E plus. So, if they are of equal in magnitude, then it becomes 9 minus 6, 3 minus 3 E minus 3 E. It means the net charge is minus 3 that of electrons. Therefore, net charge when it is negative, the flux linking with this surface is inwards and it will be negative flux. In case net charge is positive, suppose 9 positive charges are there and 6 negative charges are there, then net charge becomes plus 3E. If it is net charge positive, then the flux will be outward. So, remember, when the flux is outward, if the flux is outward, then it is taken positive flux. If the flux is inwards, then it is taken as negative flux. The flux inwards means what? The normal drawn to the surface will be outward normal, whereas the electric field line is inward. So, angle between them will be obtuse angle, or angle between them will be, let us say, 180 degree. When the angle is 180 degree, cos 180 becomes minus 1. So, thus the flux becomes negative. So, if it is a inward flux, remember it is negative flux. If it is outward flux, then it is positive flux. So, that is how this is the second way, second condition that applied on the net charge. Then when we choose a particular surface, here when I have chosen a spherical surface, the surface which is so chosen is called as Gaussian surface. The surface which is so chosen, it may be spherical surface or it may be cylindrical, it may be cubical, it may be cuboidal surface. Any type of surface that we choose in order to apply Gauss law, that surface is called as Gaussian surface. But remember, when we choose Gaussian surface, the surface must be able to include all the charges. It must be able to include all the charges. It should not be such that the surface must be passing through a particular charge. If a surface passes through a particular charge, then it is not possible to apply Gauss law, right. So, we are going to see the applications of Gauss law. There you will come to know how to choose a Gaussian surface and apply Gauss law. So, these are all the some of the conditions for applying Gauss law. Now, let us solve some simple problems. By solving simple problems, you will come to know how useful is this Gauss law in calculating either the charge enclosed by the surface, or if charge is given, one may be able to calculate flux. Once you get flux, if you know the surface, then you will be able to calculate what is the electric field. Electric field can also be calculated by another equation for flux. We know flux is also calculated as integration of E dot ds, surface integral of electric field taken over the closed surface. That closed surface is going to be the Gaussian surface. So, once we get flux, we will be able to calculate electric field or vice versa, right. So, let us see some simple problems and then you will be able to appreciate the Gauss law. Now, look at the problem. What is the electric flux through a cube of 10 centimeter when a charge of 1.8 microcoulomb is present at the center of the cube? This is the first question. What is the flux through each surface? Second question. The question is very simple. If you remember Gauss law, the problem becomes simple if you remember Gauss law. It states that there is electric flux which is passing through a cube of 10 centimeter. This is, assume that this is a cube of 10 centimeter. Each side, cube of each side 10 centimeter, cube of each side ten centimeter. Okay. Now, at the center of this cube, there is a charge. The charge value is given 1.8 microcoulomb, which is nothing but 1.8 into 10 to the power of minus 6 coulomb, 10 to the power of minus 6 coulomb. What is the flux linking with this cube? So, we can apply Gauss law. Using Gauss law, the flux linking with any enclosed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by it. The charge is given and we know the value of epsilon naught. Here epsilon naught, as I said, is equal to, epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. What is its SI unit? It is Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Coulomb square per Newton meter square. How to remember this? It becomes difficult to remember. You have to immediately recall Coulomb's law. What is Coulomb's law? For vacuum, charges in vacuum, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, where Q1 Q2 are the point charges and R is the distance of separation of those point charges. Now, I want to find out the SI unit of epsilon naught, the permittivity of free space, right. Then, if you take epsilon naught here, so it becomes 1 upon 4 pi into Q1 Q2 by F R square. So, if you remember Coulomb's law, by remembering Coulomb's law, we can write what is the SI unit of epsilon naught. So, leave about this constant. The SI unit of charges coulomb. Coulomb square, SI unit of force, Newton, SI unit of distance is meter. So, coulomb square per Newton meter square. Now, if we substitute this, we get the result. 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12. Right? Take this 10 raised to minus 12 to the numerator, and I can write this 1.8 as 18. If you take it as 18, then it becomes 18 by 10. 18 by 10 means 10 raised to minus 7 plus 12. 18 by 10 into 10 raised to minus 7 plus 12 divided by 8.85. So, 8.85 approximately, if you take it as 2, we get the result flux equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 12 minus 7, 5. 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton meter square per coulomb. So, this is the flux linking with the entire cubical surface. So, this is going to be outward flux, as we have drawn the electric field lines earlier. So, it is radial field lines. So, definitely the electric field is a radial electric field. So, total electric flux can be calculated. Now, the second question is interesting. What is the flux through each surface? Then count number of surface for a cube. You know, cube has 6 surfaces. A pair of top and bottom surfaces, pair of lateral surfaces, pair of front and back surfaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, flux through each surface becomes total flux divided by number of surfaces. That is second one. This is first. Second one, flux linking through each surface is equal to 5 divided by number of surfaces. If it is any other regular surface instead of cube, if it is having any other surfaces, then you have to count the number of surfaces. If it is a prism, then you have to count the number of surfaces, right? So, divide by number of surfaces. Number of surfaces here is 6. 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 6. So, that becomes 1 by 3.33 into 0.334, you can write, into 10 to the power of 5 Newton meter square per coulomb. Newton meter square per coulomb. This can be written as 3.34 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton meter square per coulomb square. Yes, coulomb. So, please remember, whenever you calculate any physical quantity, whether it is a charge or flux or electric field, please remember to write. You must complete it with the help of SI. It's SI unit. Then only the answer is complete. Right? This is the answer. Next, let us see one more simple problem. Now, here you have calculated electric flux when the charge is given. Now, if electric flux is given, if you are asked to calculate charge, then again electric flux is equal to electric charge is equal to flux times epsilon naught. Let us see that simple example. Second example. Now, look at the second problem. If the flux linking with each surface of a cube is 1.5 into 10 raised to 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. Calculate the charge enclosed by the cube. Now, here flux linking with each surface of a cube is given. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. What is the charge enclosed by the cube? Again, we need to apply Gauss theorem, and the Gaussian surface given here is the cubical surface. Again, just draw a cubical surface. Right? So, flux linking with each surface is given. Flux crossing each surface is equal to 1.5 into 10 raised to 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. So, what is total flux due to all the surfaces? Total flux due to all the surfaces is equal to 6 times the flux through each surface, because it has got 6 surfaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, total flux linking with the entire cubical surface with cube is equal to 6 into 1.5 into 10 raised to 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. This becomes total flux. Once you get the total flux, then we can apply Gauss law. So, 15 6 are 90. So, it becomes 9. 9 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. Right? Using Gauss law. Applying Gauss law, if the flux is there, there must be a charge enclosed. So, Q can be now calculated. Flux is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So, this implies Q must be equal to epsilon naught times electric flux. Very simple. Therefore, charge enclosed. It becomes simple now. Charge enclosed Q is equal to 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12, that is the value of epsilon naught. Then substitute the value of phi, which we got 9 into 10 to the power of 3. So, if you just substitute here coulomb square and here it is coulomb, you are left with coulomb. Newton meter square cancels with Newton meter square. So, you are left with SI unit of charge, that is coulomb. So, 9 into this, 9 5s are 45, carry 4, 9 8s are 72, 72 plus 4, 76, carry 7, 9 8s are 72, 72 plus 6, 78. So, it becomes 78.65 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb. Right? So, approximately you can say 79 nano coulomb. This is in terms of nano coulomb. 78.65 nano coulomb. 1 nano is equal to 10 to the power of minus 9. So, this is how one can apply Gauss law to get the result for charge enclosed or to calculate the total electric flux. So, once we get electric flux, by the knowledge of this total surface, we can even calculate what is the electric field at a particular point. Okay. So, in the next video, we will see the applications of Gauss law. We will solve some more problems and then we will go to the applications of Gauss law, wherein by applying Gauss law, it becomes very simple the complex problems of finding the electric field due to distribution of charge, continuous distribution of charge like linear charge density, surface charge density, volume charge density. By applying Gauss law, it becomes simple. We choose Gaussian surface and we apply Gauss law to calculate the electric field. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.